Suspects or motive in the murder of rapper and actor Tupac Shakur, who died last Friday the 13th after being gunned down in a drive-by following the Mike Tyson-Bruce Seldon boxing match September 7th. Meanwhile, on Thursday night in Los Angeles, we spoke with Marion Suge Knight, head of Tupac's label Death Row Records, and the man who was driving the car sitting right next to Tupac when he was shot. Knight, who himself was grazed in the head by a bullet, was prevented by his lawyers from addressing the shooting itself. But here, for the first time on television, he speaks publicly about its aftermath.
How are you feeling and how are you doing physically?
I feel like this. I feel that the last word is always God. But Pac saved my life. The reason why I say Pac saved my life, I got shot in the head, I got grazed some other places, but I still got the bullet in my head. It's still there. But for as trying to get him to the hospital didn't make me realize that I was shot. Because usually when you get shot in the head, the first thing the person do is panic. You know, bam, I'm shot in the head, I'm about to die. You know. And once you do that, you can't drive nowhere. My whole thing was, Pac, he was shot. I'm like, you shot? I'm finna get you to the hospital. I'm driving, telling him I'm finna get to the hospital, kick back. Pac looked at me and said, you know what? You need the doctor more than me. You the one shot in your head. And we laughed the whole time going to find out went to the hospital. That's the conversation we had. It wasn't, Pac was a man the whole time. It wasn't that he was like, oh, I'm shot. He cracking jokes. He like, yeah, they shot me. He said, but you shot in your head. Look at your head bleed. Look how much it's bleed. That was Pac. And I'm like, man, shut up, I'm gonna get you to the doctor.
So he was conscious on the way to the hospital?
He was conscious on the way to the hospital. He was conscious in the ambulance. He was conscious after they did the surgery.
What was the last thing that he said to you?
That he loved me. We was in, we was going in, we was on the thing and was getting there. I like, Pac, we the last one left. When we talk, this is how we talking. He said, homie, I'm straight. I love you, homie. I'm gonna be straight. I love you too. Woo, woo. That's what it was.
There was a report earlier this week in the New York Post that Tupac was looking to leave Death Row Records. Mm-hmm. Is that true?
You should answer that. You don't take a person like Tupac who, if you listen to every song on All Eyes on Me, every song on Machiavelli, every time he do an interview, what's the first thing he say? Death Row. Tupac loved Death Row. Tupac loved me, I loved him. I mean, Tupac took Death Row to the next level. I mean, we worked hard and we laid the foundation down, and Snoop took the baton, he ran with it, and he did a great job with it. When Tupac got the baton, not only did he win the race, he finished so fast that he was able to sit back and drink some Thug Passion and come up with another plan. I mean, if you'd asked Tupac that question, that was he planning on leaving Death Row, he definitely would have cussed you out.
A lot of people in the hip-hop community have said that this incident will change hip-hop. This is a really landmark event, tragic event at that, and that the music will probably never be the same. Do you see the direction of Death Row changing? Is there going to be a different type of music put out?
Not at all. We're going to do the same thing we've been doing and sell records. Like I said before, my main goal is fulfill Tupac's dreams. And Tupac would definitely never want the music to change, or the style. So we're going to keep it the way he would like it.
They screaming, Tupac back, Tupac back. What the fuck is up, Coachella? Motherfucking ring up. Yeah, Machiavelli is this.
I mean, I think, you know, the fact that we can continue to, you know, pay homage to what Tupac meant to hip-hop and to music and to the culture. So, I mean, that's great. I mean, unfortunately, you know, the brother passed, but I mean, the fact that we could still give a vehicle for people to enjoy and remember what he means to music and to our culture is great. So, the good good part is that, you know, you have artists like Dr. Dre and Snoop who know Tupac and knew Tupac, and at the same token have a high regard for Tupac and keeping the tradition alive and keeping that spirit out there and reminding people, man, this guy was, we loved him. So I mean, and I think also for a younger generation that really didn't get into Tupac or didn't know Tupac as well, they may go out and seek out more information about him. Because that happened with, I mean, I was at the studio with my daughter who's 14, and she was like, you know, her friend was like, well, I don't know much, because they looked at posters of Biggie and Tupac, and they were like, I don't know much about Tupac. So, I mean, now at this point, they may, because of seeing the hologram and all the talk about that, may go out and do research about his music and find some good stuff in his music. Peace, what's up, y'all? This is Common, and right now you're in tune with Global Grind. Y'all stay in tune, all right? Love.
Tupac Shakur is a study of contradiction. The million-selling rapper is praised by many for his socially relevant raps, like Keep Your Head Up, a salute to black women who aren't getting support from black men. On the other hand, he's criticized for his gangster image. He's a budding young actor who has been praised by movie critics as someone with real acting talent. Yet with all this going for him, many say he's risking it all. You see, Shakur is also a young man in trouble with the law. He faces numerous charges across the country. Among his legal woes, he served time in jail for assaulting a movie director that fired him from a project. He's apologized for that one. He's been involved in a shooting incident with an off-duty police officer, and in October he faces trial on charges of sodomy. I caught up with the popular rapper in his friend's bookstore in Atlanta. We started our conversation by talking about why he feels he can impact today's youth with his work.
I have something to offer to business that hasn't been shown before. You know, I have a whole energy that represents not just black youth, but white youth, Mexican youth, you know what I'm saying? That change right before you go from being 18 and unresponsible to when you go to being like 21, 22, and the whole world's on your shoulders. I believe strongly that my audience empathize with me because I show that side. I show that emotion, raw, uncut, good and bad. And so I think I can bring that more funnel, more directed into screenplays, more albums, producing, managing. You know what I'm saying? If I can figure out just how to control it, I can use it on a lot of different levels.
In fact, it is that raw, uncut energy that Shakur brings to entertaining that has won him a legion of fans. I wondered how he's handling this pretty heady stuff at the tender age of 23.
Amazing. I'm almost more in awe of the people in awe of me than they are of me. You know what I'm saying? I trip off because it happens out of nothing. It just goes, you know, everybody just be screaming and acting, and I just trip. I get uncomfortable, and it's like similar to a deer being caught in the headlights. So me with just words, it's like a battle to find the right words to say at the right time.
I'm curious, when you think about the idea that you do have that kind of control over so many people, in one sense, the whole idea of being a role model comes up in the imagery. And a lot of people who know you, and I talked to them beforehand, suggested that, hey, you know, when you meet him, he's going to be something entirely different than you imagine and what the media is portraying him. What about that idea that you have been portrayed? And sometimes, I mean, to be honest, you like the portrayal of you just hard, thug.
That's right.
Don't step on me.
That's right.
You're in trouble.
That's right.
Yet there's another side to you, too. What about that idea that you've got to be able to figure out where you're going?
To me, it's like, it is my sensitive side that likes to blow up the hard side. Because if my image or my reputation can stop a confrontation before it happens, I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? I know how it is day to day. It's a constant man ego check going on in this street, in this world. So part of that is just like, you know, that's my resume. But as far as the media, they look at it as something different. They don't care about my resume. They don't care about me not getting in trouble. It's just another story, you know, and it's a real story. They don't have to pay for it, and they're going to milk it for all it's worth. As far as people, they want me, when they first see me, to humble myself. They want me to be like this and da-da-da, just because they're scared of me. But I don't feel like that's my job, to humble myself to show you that I'm not a threat. I'm not a threat unless you're a threat to me. You know what I'm saying? So when people say, when you meet Pac, he's different than he is, because when somebody one-on-one, anybody one-on-one, I believe, honestly, that I can talk. I believe that I have the ability to reason, I have logic, I have compassion, I have understanding. If we talk, there's no problems. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what happens. People use what they heard in the media, and that's how they come at me. And then, you know, we got a clash.
One of the things that you read in the media is that you're angry, that you personify your generation, that you just got some angry folks out there, and you're one of them. I'll put it to you. Are you angry? Are you angry with what you see society is about?
Yeah, I'm extremely angry, confused. You know, a lot of the times that I sat up in court, I couldn't defend myself. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like the things they were saying about me were beyond my comprehension, or the things that I could say weren't going to help my case. But because it's like being exiled, you know, from society, and that's how I feel. And this whole the anger comes from, I'm tired of waiting for my past to get into society. We got to find pride in ourselves, you know what I'm saying? And once you get the pride, like damn near 2 seconds after the pride comes anger from being held like that for so long, and to be made to go through those changes. You get mad, you know what I'm saying? I believe as soon as any black man receives his first 3 checks, he starts getting mad. Because it's not about the necessity of having to have a job and having to pay and having to do that. You don't care no more about the smiles and the, you know, yes, massa, because you done got paid. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like you want to save money. You want to help other people. And you see how far it is, how far you have to go to help anybody in your neighborhood. It's set up for me when I get paid for me to exit the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? The only reason I've had these problems is because I haven't left yet. And these problems don't come from a white man. It comes from just society, the problems that we have.
Let me put this to you. A lot of people tell me Tupac is, for the most part, a nice guy. This old thug thing, hype. Good for record sales. Helps him identify with the young people who are out there and angry, who would maybe label him a sellout, like they did Hammer, if he didn't have that hard side. What about that?
First of all, nobody could call me a sellout. I'm not going for that. I'm not even in that. I'm not looking for approval from the black community, because we don't give approval. You know, we don't really do nothing but exist. So it's not like black people could tell me you a sellout or you true blue. You know what I'm saying? It's not that. I'm not even caught up in that. But I can see that, you know what I'm saying, the one thing we do have in common as black people is we share that poverty. So the thug side is more closer to the poverty than me being rich. You know, how can I come to any community center, you know what I'm saying, sporting a Rolex Presidential, all these diamonds, and be like, look, we, you know what I'm saying, gotta. But now, when I say we, they know what I mean. I'm not saying like I live in this neighborhood and nothing, but I'm a thug, and they thugs. They can relate to it. I don't even have to say that, you know what I'm saying? When I come, I don't have to say I'm real. They already know that, you know what I'm saying, from me being me, from not pushing the thugness, but I know from the business that everybody in this business is always whispering in your ear about what you can't say, what you can't do, what you can't wear in this world and in this world. It's 2 worlds, a white world and a black world. All I did was stand in the middle, you know what I'm saying, and say I'm living in both worlds. I can go to the streets and survive, and I can go out here and do my business out here.
I'm play devil's advocate again.
Police used a different excuse to go after Eldridge Cleaver, saying they were looking for a random gunman in the area and he was a suspect. Cleaver eluded them by hiding in the basement of his neighbor's house. Police unloaded a fusillade of bullets into that house. Cleaver saved himself by coming out of the house completely naked, knowing police couldn't shoot him and say he was armed. 18-year-old Bobby Hutton was too shy to follow Cleaver's advice. He came out shirtless with his arms raised and police fatally shot him. FBI documents obtained years later and shown here described how they instructed police intelligence to use a harassment arrest strategy to drain the Revolutionary Action Movement's members' time and money. Other documents showed how they used this in their attempt to neutralize the Black Panther Party for self-defense. Evidence further suggested the future use of this strategy against Tupac Shakur and other political rappers. Police intelligence, who had officers that were also FBI agents, proceeded to arrest Panther leaders throughout the country on what appeared as frame-ups. Undercover agents also infiltrated the Black Panthers to set up murders of Panther leaders. These included Los Angeles Panther leaders Bunchy Carter and John Huggins, Huggins and Carter had left a tape-recorded message that if they died, Geronimo Pratt should take their place as the LA Panther leader. In Chicago, the FBI and police intelligence waged a particularly gruesome attack on Panther leader Fred Hampton. Hampton had great success in uniting the Panthers in a rainbow coalition with the White Students for a Democratic Society and the Latino Young Lords activist groups. Hampton further helped politicize the largest gangs in Chicago, including the Blackstone Rangers. An undercover police agent, William O'Neill, sabotaged the Blackstone Rangers' merge with the Panthers by firing at the gang and passing fake letters to the Rangers. U.S. intelligence would similarly target Tupac Shakur for his work at politicizing gangs. By the end of 1969, police led a murderous raid on Fred Hampton's apartment. Evidence suggests undercover agent O'Neill drugged Hampton, and police killed the Panther leader in his sleep. Police also killed Southern Illinois Panther leader Mark Clark in that raid. Here, some of these Chicago police officers are seen smiling while carrying Hampton's body. Since these assassinations, several federal officials confirmed that the FBI orchestrated them through police intelligence units. For example, a Los Angeles FBI counterintelligence program agent named M. Wesley Swearingen published this memoir, FBI Secrets, in the mid-1990s. It confirmed the FBI's orchestration of LA Panther leaders Bunchy Carter and John Huggins' murders. He further confirmed the frame-up of LA Panther leader Geronimo Pratt. Swearingen also quoted the Chicago FBI COINTELPRO head as stating their setup of Hampton and Clark's assassinations. FBI agent Swearingen stated in interviews that the FBI's counterintelligence program continued for decades under different names. CIA whistleblowers such as Phil Agee and John Stockwell also confirmed the CIA's consistent aid of these programs into the present. In 1969, U.S. intelligence also had first shot at Bronx Black Panther leader Sekou Odinga, and then arrested 21 of the top New York Panthers, including Harlem Panther leader Lumumba Shakur and his wife Afeni Shakur. The Panther 21 decided that collected bail money should first free Afeni Shakur to be the Panthers' Harlem leader and New York spokesperson. Afeni became pregnant with Tupac during that time, just before her bail was revoked. The Panther 21 trial was one of the most highly publicized trials of the decade. Several books were published about what turned into a tragic comic event, including a National Book Award winner. While very pregnant, Afeni Shakur represented herself in court. New York University professor Peter Zimroth, a former prosecutor, observed the whole trial and wrote about the incredible bias the judge showed in favor of the prosecution, including daily meetings the judge had with the prosecutor to coach him on gaining a conviction. In another display of bias, the judge consistently said, "Request denied," to any objections Afeni raised, as she legally represented herself in court. At one point, Afeni stood up and asked, "May we ask the district attorney to cooperate in having a just trial?" "Request denied," the judge snapped, leading the pro-Panther crowd filling the courtroom seats to both laughter and jeers. Professor Zimroth quoted jurors who said that Afeni's defense gained all of the Panther 21's acquittals. As the lead juror said, "Not guilty for so many counts against the Panther 21, Afeni sobbed in her hands, and many in the court cried with her." Another important aspect of the Panther 21 trial came out when defense attorney Gerald Lefcourt cross-examined the state's witness, undercover agent Eugene Roberts, who had infiltrated the New York Black Panthers and helped frame the Panther 21. Lefcourt said, "Isn't it a fact that you helped murder Malcolm X?" Roberts had previously infiltrated Malcolm X's group and was the first person to arrive at his bullet-ridden body. Malcolm's wife, Betty Shabazz, a nurse, first covered her kids when the shooting started. Then, Joan Roberts grabbed Betty Shabazz, but Shabazz threw her into a wall and ran to her husband, where Gene Roberts said he was dead. William Pepper said that similar to the role of Roberts, undercover military agent infiltrator Merrill McCullough was the first to arrive at Martin Luther King's body at his assassination, as seen here. Pepper said McCullough checked out Martin Luther King's life signs. He then apparently signaled the shooters to disengage as the assassination was successful. Shortly after, McCullough received a promotion to the CIA. Afeni Shakur gave birth to Tupac Amaru Shakur within 2 months of the trial's end in June of 1971. She named him after the last Incan leader to die trying to fight off the Spanish invaders. She eventually moved in with Lumumba Shakur's adopted brother, Mutulu Shakur. Here Mutulu is seen with Tupac right from the book Tupac Resurrection. Mutulu was a co-founding member of the Republic of New Africa, the RNA. The RNA started from a convention of black activists nationwide who met in the Detroit church where the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, had grown up, as her father was the minister there. Afeni continued working on activist projects, such as a landmark lawsuit against the New York Police Department. Afeni and other activists, such as Abby Hoffman and lead lawyer Barbara Handschuh, partly based their lawsuit on FBI documents that activists obtained by burglarizing an FBI office in Media, Pennsylvania. The documents revealed the FBI's counterintelligence program, or COINTELPRO. The FBI had illegally spied on, infiltrated, sabotaged, and orchestrated murders of people involved in legal protest activities. The FBI used particularly brutal COINTELPRO tactics against black activists such as the Black Panthers. Reports state that the FBI continued to follow Afeni Shakur from job to job and pressured employers to fire her or not to hire her. Mutulu had attained a 4-year degree in acupuncture in Canada. He used it as assistant director of Lincoln Detox, a pioneering program with great success at treating addicts in the South Bronx through acupuncture. Many activists from various groups worked with Mutulu. These included white former Students for a Democratic Society activists, including those linked to the Weather Underground, Puerto Rican independence activists, and former Black Panthers. As Mutulu remained active in the Republic of New Africa, he and Afeni took young Tupac to many activist meetings during those years. Other Shakurs experienced trials and tribulations in the 1970s. Lumumba and Mutulu's brother, Zaid Shakur, had been a tireless Black Panther organizer, while Lumumba and Afeni awaited trial. Zaid worked particularly hard at countering the FBI's COINTELPRO tactics used to divide Black Panther co-founder Huey Newton, based in California, from other Panther leaders, including Eldridge Cleaver, who started a Panther chapter in Algeria. As seen in these FBI strategy documents, further fake letters and undercover agents were used to couple Afeni's New York Panthers with Cleaver in this Newton-Cleaver split. Panther National Secretary Kathleen Cleaver said that some media dubbed this split the East Coast versus West Coast Black Panther War. With similar tactics found, the similar name as the East versus West Rap War appeared more than a coincidence. Amidst that conflict, undercover agent infiltrators reportedly convinced Newton to expel LA Panther leader Pratt, Tupac's godfather. Pratt is seen here with his wife Linda, Afeni, Tupac, and Tupac's sister Sechewa. They reportedly brought a false background poster into Pratt's prison for this picture. LA FBI COINTELPRO leader Richard Held had orchestrated a police raid of the LA Panther office in 1969. Police snipers shot up Pratt's bed in that raid, but Pratt saved himself by sleeping on the floor due to a bad back acquired as a Vietnam veteran.
Machiavelliness, Illuminati, all through your body. The blows like a 12 get shot at. Feel that? Hey, God, Section 6, one we got done to lead the wild into the ways of the man. Follow me. Eat my flesh, my flesh.
Tupac was really tired. He was tired of fighting. Tired of being vilified, tired of being called things that he knew inside himself he was unable to be. I think he was just tired, and he had a right. Basically, he had a right, and I couldn't change it. As a mother, it's the worst bad thing. You're powerless. Can't change it. Can't make it right. Can't fix it for my baby. So I wish he was here every day, but I don't want him to be unhappy. And I know that my son was. He chose his life, and he chose, in the end, he chose to leave quietly. And I think I can leave alone.